Hey guys, we're going to tie another little quick clouser variant. It's used a lot here in Texas. It's one of the early patterns that a lot of guys down here taught me how to tie. It works really well for bass and bluegill and Guadalupe bass, but specifically it's a pattern that everyone talks about down here in South Texas for white bass. And the white bass run during the months of March and April. This is a very popular pattern. You can tie it in a bunch of different ways. I'll start it off. I've got 140 denier thread, and I'll put the ingredients for this recipe in the description. But as you can see, I'm going to move that head forward a little bit, tie it down. It's not going to be all the way back, but probably just in the middle of the hook shank. You can see that. And I'll go ahead and start tying down our eyes. And as you can see with the eyes, go ahead and give a little help there. We're going to go up and over crossways, turn it around, up and over the other way. And you can do that a handful of times. It's locking it down in place. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go under, over the hook, under the eye, over the hook, under the eye. And we're going to do that a couple of times, and that's going to lock it down in place. Really gives it a nice little tightness so their eyes don't spin. We can put some epoxy, whatever you feel comfortable with. I tend not to do it, but that's just me. That's not a big deal. All right, the first thing we're going to put on is we've taken some crystal flash here, and we have it in, we have it in our ghost flash, their crystal flash, gray ghost burl on there. And I've taken 2 strands, I've doubled them over, cut them, and so now I've got probably about 8 strands in there. So I'm going to double this over so I don't hit our camera in front of us. Get that tight, and that lets us the ability to kind of slide it down, tie that in, and again, just like a clouser, tie down that tail. Now we got that long body. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of super bright red dubbing. You can use red yarn is fine. You can use Samuel's Fusion, laser dub, whatever you want there. So we're going to kind of take this back towards our eye. We're going to hold that down. Soft pressure, and then as we go across, then we'll apply the tightness. There. Bring this over. And I'm not going to advance it back. I just want it to be just behind the eyes. Bring that over. And now I've got this little gill plate there sticking out. And sometimes that redness acts like a little bit of like a hot spot, which is great for fish to kind of key in on. But, it's got a lot of flash. It's pretty good. And I'm looking for our length to be kind of, just like you see with a bunch of clousers, 1.5 times the hook length. This is just a little bit longer, but it's not a huge deal. I can come in sideways with my scissors and just kind of trim it down a little bit. But if we have like 1 or 2 strings that are just a little long, that's fine. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip it over. If you have a rotary vise, it makes it a lot easier. If you have a regular vise, that's not a problem. Just go ahead and you can make a knot, a half hitch, whatever. Lock that in place and flip it over so you have it. So again, I'm going to advance my thread. I'm going to come over. I'm going to double up my strands that I've doubled over and cut. And bring that down. I'm going to advance it towards my eyes. I'm not going to go behind the eye. But the reason why I'm tying close is I can make this taper to the nose of our fly. If I'm tying back here, then this part gets pretty big, and we want to keep that taper so that we get a little bit there. So we can finish up with a half hitch. We can do our whip finish here. tie that off. You can put a little bit of glue if you want. You know, you do this for enough. You trust your knots. I trust my knots here. And we go from there. So then go ahead and just kind of even out our fly. Move some of these things over here. And there we go. And I haven't heard of it called anything else, so again, apologies for the name. It's just what I've known it for, but as you can see, it's a very transparent fly, and there's a lot of minnows in the Texas rivers that when you pull them out, they're very clear. Even when they're swimming in the water, they're very clear. And so this gives that nice little profile. You have that gill plate, you have some eyes, so it's going to get down, and you have a stainless steel hook, because white bass bend hooks. They're very aggressive when they're out there in March, and you need to have stainless steel hooks. It also provides that bigger hook gap, so again, we can get into some bigger fish. But bass, bluegill, warmouth, just any Texas river, this thing is fun, and enjoy tying it. Hope you guys enjoy.